In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 college football games happening on November 4th, 2023, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 college football games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start. If you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Ohio State versus Rutgers. The undefeated top-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes journey to New Jersey to face the resilient 6-2 Rutgers Scarlet Knights in what is anticipated to be their most challenging matchup before their pivotal clash with Michigan in 3 weeks. Ohio State boasts a flawless 8-0 record, placing them in contention for a spot in the college football playoffs should they maintain their winning streak to conclude the season. On the other side, the Scarlet Knights have compiled a 5-2 season record, showcasing a 2-game winning streak. Ohio State approaches this game with an unblemished 8-0 record, and while their recent performances haven't been as overwhelmingly dominant, they have consistently secured victories. In their latest encounter against Wisconsin, their defense once again made the difference, sealing a 24-10 triumph. Quarterback Kyle McCord completed 17 of 26 passes for 226 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Tre'Veyon Henderson returned to action, amassing 162 yards and a touchdown on 24 carries. Ohio State maintains an average of 32.5 points per game while permitting just 10 points on defense. Rutgers has maintained a perfect 5-0 home record, and they've covered the spread in 4 out of 5 instances. In their most recent road contest against Indiana, they demonstrated their mettle, scoring 31 points and allowing a mere 14. Quarterback Gavin Wimsatt completed 5 of 12 passes for 39 yards, but the real strength lay in their ground game, where he rushed 16 times for 143 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rutgers averages 28 points per game and holds opponents to an average of 16 points on defense. As Ohio State descends upon New Jersey, they arrive as significant favorites with a 19.5-point margin against the 6-2 Scarlet Knights, a line that continues to move. Historically, Ohio State has found success against Rutgers as they face off annually. Over the past 5 years, the Buckeyes have defeated the Scarlet Knights with an average score of 51.6-15. Last year, Ohio State was a 39-point favorite, and the final score precisely matched that spread, ending at 49-10. While 19.5 points may not be their largest margin of the season, it represents their biggest in their last 5 games against Power 5 opponents. Ohio State currently holds a 5-5 record against the spread this season. While Ohio State averages 32.5 points over the season, their performance in Big 10 competition slightly lowers that figure to 27. Rutgers has boasted an impressive defense this season, allowing just 16 points per game overall, though that figure rises to 25 points when facing Big 10 opponents. Notably, in their game against Michigan, they allowed 31 points, which aligns closely with Ohio State's 32.5-point average, making it an interesting matchup. Ohio State is managing injuries, with quarterback Kyle McCord nursing a nagging injury, though he remains available. Running back Miyan Williams is out for the season, but the Buckeyes possess sufficient depth in that position. The central matchup in this game hinges on Rutgers quarterback Gavin Wimsatt against Ohio State's formidable defense. Ohio State's secondary excels at disrupting pass plays, holding opposing quarterbacks to a mere 50.7% completion rate. Wimsatt, for Rutgers, completes his passes at a similar 50% rate. This alignment will likely force Rutgers to rely more heavily on their running game. Fortunately for the Buckeyes, they excel at defending the run, conceding a mere 100 yards on average, and boasting a remarkable 28.4% third down conversion rate, effectively shortening opponent drives. Furthermore, their 3.9 yards allowed per play leads the nation. Switching to the offensive side, Ohio State's versatility allows them to excel both on the ground, averaging 134 yards per game, and through the air, where they accumulate 295 yards per game. Players like Marvin Harrison Jr. and senior tight end Cade Stover provide the offensive firepower. Michigan managed to gain over 200 rushing yards against Rutgers' defense earlier this season, and Ohio State should have no difficulty replicating that. This home game stands stands as Rutgers' most significant of the season, offering them a chance to elevate their standing with a victory over the top-ranked Ohio State. A win in this matchup would position Rutgers for a more prestigious bowl opportunity, having secured a perfect 5-0 home record. However, the contest against Ohio State serves as a reminder that Rutgers falls within the second tier of Big Ten schools, with Michigan and Ohio State as the dominant powers. This distinction is likely to become evident on Saturday with a moderately sized line. While Ohio State is gearing up for a highly anticipated matchup against Michigan, it is still sufficiently focused on this game, ensuring they don't overlook their current challenge. So the Ohio State Buckeyes to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. Given the possibility of Ohio State adopting a more run-oriented approach, particularly with a somewhat injured starting quarterback, the game could evolve into a slower, grinded-out contest, featuring a dominant defense against both the pass and the run. Ohio State's defensive strength could hold Rutgers to a single score or fewer. Moreover, the reduced passing opportunities may lead to fewer dynamic plays. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Kansas State versus Texas. In an exciting Big 12 matchup, the 23rd-ranked Kansas State Wildcats journey to face the 7th-ranked Texas Longhorns on a picturesque Austin day, where the kickoff at Darrell K. Royal Texas Memorial Stadium is scheduled. Both teams are coming off impressive victories, with the Wildcats shutting out Houston 41-0 and the Longhorns securing a dominant 35-6 win against Brigham Young University. Kansas State stands at 6-2 this season, propelled by their recent convincing win over Houston. Holding a commanding 28-0 lead at halftime, the Wildcats ultimately triumphed with a total yardage advantage of 394-208, complemented by 2 turnovers forced. Their previous game saw them dismantle TCU 41-3. Kansas State's offense averages 40 points per game, with 238.6 passing yards and 226 rushing yards per game, converting 55% of their third down attempts. Quarterback Will Howard has accumulated 1,628 yards, along with 14 touchdowns and 7 interceptions this season. DJ Giddens has been a force on the ground with 722 yards and 7 touchdowns, while Phillip Brooks has contributed 39 receptions for 437 yards and 3 touchdowns. The Wildcats' defense has allowed just 16 points per game this year. Texas boasts a 7-1 record, with a comprehensive 35-6 victory over Brigham Young University in their most recent contest. Dominating the first half with a 21-3 lead, they allowed only 3 points in the second half. Texas outgained their opponent 354-292 yards and forced 3 turnovers during the game. In their prior outing, the Longhorns defeated Houston 31-24. The Texas offense averages 34.5 points per game, producing 274.1 passing yards and 180 rushing yards per game, with a 40.6% conversion rate on third downs. Malik Murphy has stepped in as quarterback, accumulating 217 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 1 interception in place of Quinn Ewers. Jonathan Brooks has been a dominant force on the ground, accumulating 923 yards and 7 touchdowns, while Xavier Worthy leads the receiving corps with 44 catches for 572 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Texas defense has permitted an average of 16 points per game this season. Kansas State's ability to cover the spread hinges on their strong defensive effort, especially against a new and relatively untested Texas quarterback, Malik Murphy. The Wildcats are determined to establish their worth and can exert pressure on Murphy by stifling the Texas ground game. This could force Texas into longer third down situations, a key element in Kansas State's success. In the absence of Quinn Ewers, the Wildcats' offense, led by Howard, becomes a potent threat. Their strong ground game is a national standout, and the outcome may rest on the performance of Texas' pass defense. A subpar showing could give Kansas State an offensive edge. While Texas may be the favored home team, their role as the more glamorous side contributes to the line's current configuration. Despite Kansas State's less prominent reputation, they boast a top 20 offense and a top 20 scoring defense. Though they've faced 2 road losses this season, the Wildcats are among the most balanced teams in college football. They arrive at this game after 3 consecutive high-scoring victories, and they are hungry for a significant road win. The absence of Ewers might present a challenge for Texas, given the strength of Kansas State's offensive attack. It seems unlikely that Texas can keep pace without Ewers. When presented with the opportunity to support such a high-quality team as the underdog, it's a tempting choice. The assessment here does not favor Texas as nearly a touchdown better without their quarterback leader, so the Kansas State Wildcats to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Although both teams tend to play at a fast pace, Saturday's contest may shape up as a defensive struggle. The Wildcats have a strong running game, but the question arises as to whether they can maintain their pace if that element is neutralized. While Howard is a proficient quarterback, Kansas State's passing game ranks only 70th nationally. Texas, with their elite run defense, is among the top 10 nationally in both third down and red zone defense. Even if the Wildcats manage to secure an early lead, their emphasis on the running game may slow down the pace of the match. Furthermore, the Wildcats' defense, especially against the run, could create difficulties for the freshman quarterback for Texas. All these factors suggest a game with fewer points scored. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. Notre Dame versus Clemson. Saturday's college football matchup unfolds at Clemson Memorial Stadium in Clemson, South Carolina, where the Notre Dame Fighting Irish will face the Clemson Tigers. Notre Dame heads into this contest following a resounding 58-7 victory over Pittsburgh, propelling their season record to 7-2. On the other hand, Clemson's disappointing 4-4 season continues, marked by a recent 24-17 road loss to NC State. The Notre Dame Fighting Irish showcased their prowess in their previous game with a commanding 58-7 triumph over Pitt, elevating their season record to 7-2. Sam Hartman, Notre Dame's quarterback, has recorded 2,126 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, connecting on 65.4% of his passes. Audric Estem leads the team in rushing with 901 yards and 12 touchdowns. Mitchell Evans is the leading receiver for the Irish, with 29 receptions for 422 yards, while Chris Tyree has contributed 417 receiving yards. The Irish boast a robust receiving core with 3 players amassing over 200 receiving yards and another 3 surpassing 100 yards. Defensively, J.D. Bertrand leads the team with 57 total tackles, while Jordan Boatlow boasts 3 sacks, and Xavier Watts has recorded an impressive 6 interceptions this season. Clemson, coming off a 24-17 loss to NC State, enters this matchup with a 4-4 record, making this season a challenging one for the Tigers. Cade Klubnik, the quarterback, has thrown for 1,947 yards, 13 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions, completing 63.9% of his passes. The Tigers have relied on their rushing game, with Will Shipley amassing 515 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Phil Maffa has added 439 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns. Bo Collins leads Clemson in receiving with 408 yards, and Tyler Brown and Jake Brenningstool have each registered over 300 receiving yards this season. On the defensive side, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. leads the team with 54 total tackles, while TJ Park has 4 sacks, and Wade Woodaz and Ruko Orhoro each have 3 sacks. Upon examination, the statistics of both teams reveal striking similarities in many aspects. For instance, Notre Dame averages 428 total offensive yards, while Clemson's average stands at 416 yards. When dissecting these numbers, Notre Dame's offense generates 164 passing yards and 120 rushing yards, while Clemson produces 157 passing yards and 259 rushing yards. On the defensive front, Notre Dame allows an average of 279 yards per game, with Clemson conceding 267 yards. Both teams have struggled with field goals, with Notre Dame converting 7 of 14 and Clemson making 11 of 20. Nevertheless, key disparities exist. Notre Dame outpaces Clemson in points per game, averaging 38 compared to Clemson's 29. Moreover, Notre Dame's defense is among the nation's best, conceding only 15 points per game, while Clemson allows 21 points on average. Another pivotal aspect is the contrast between the two teams' quarterbacks. Notre Dame's Sam Hartman, a 6th-year senior with extensive collegiate experience, will face Clemson for the 5th time. In prior matches, Hartman consistently achieved impressive statistics, even against highly ranked Clemson teams. In the previous year's matchup, he threw for 337 yards, completing 69% of his passes with 6 touchdowns. Despite Hartman's efforts, Notre Dame narrowly lost to 5th-ranked Clemson in double overtime, with a final score of 51-45. Hartman has since orchestrated 2 dominant victories this season, defeating the USC Trojans with 48 points and overcoming the 10th-ranked Trojans in South Bend. In contrast, Clemson's quarterback, Cade Klubnik, has made several questionable decisions this season, resulting in critical turnovers. This inconsistency, exemplified by 2 key interceptions in the last game, raises concerns about Klubnik's performance against Notre Dame's formidable defense, which ranks 7th nationally, allowing a mere 7 yards per play. The previous year's contest between these teams was decidedly one-sided, with Notre Dame leading throughout and Clemson failing to score until the 4th quarter. Notre Dame's running backs were instrumental, collectively accumulating 218 yards on the ground. Although circumstances have changed, the essence of the victory remains fresh in Notre Dame's memory. Clemson's home fans are another variable in this matchup. With their season near its end and Clemson essentially playing for pride, fans' reactions may grow less forgiving should their team fall behind. Coach Dabo Swinney has also expressed a tolerant attitude toward fans showing discontent. This atmosphere, combined with the team's struggle since the start of conference play, may pose additional challenges for Clemson. Clemson returned 15 starters from the previous year, but their current 4-4 record reflects a period of rebuilding. The Tigers have experienced issues, notably with their young quarterback, Cade Klubnik. Notre Dame's strong passing defense, ranking 3rd nationally with 7 interceptions in the last 2 games, may exacerbate Klubnik's challenges. This game presents an unfavorable matchup for the Tigers, as Notre Dame's offense has excelled, amassing 106 points in their last 2 games. Sam Hartman's experience and skill, combined with Notre Dame's running game, may pose a formidable challenge for Clemson. Audric Estem and Hartman are anticipated to perform well, and Notre Dame's defense is poised to limit Clemson's inconsistent offense. Clemson's season has taken a notably unfavorable turn, bearing resemblance to Alabama's gradual decline over the past 2 seasons. The Tigers face the possibility of finishing the season below .500, a rare occurrence for a team with their recent track record. Notre Dame's momentum, coupled with their motivation, suggests they have an edge in this road contest. The momentum should carry Notre Dame to victory, and they are expected to win by more than a touchdown. So the Notre Dame Fighting Irish to win and cover the spread as favorites is our full game side pick. This game features the lowest total of the season for the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Most of their games have seen totals of 50 or higher. On the flip side, the Clemson Tigers have seen a consistent total of 44.5 points in their last 2 games. The notably low total in this game underscores the bookmakers' confidence in both teams' defensive capabilities. Notre Dame has indeed displayed an offensive surge over the past 2 weeks, averaging an impressive 53 points per game. However, it's important to note that these high-scoring games were against teams like USC and Pitt, both of which rank near the bottom in defensive categories. When facing tougher Atlantic Coast Conference and Big Ten opponents, Notre Dame's average points drop significantly. They managed to score 14 points against Ohio State, 21 against Duke, and 20 against Louisville. Clemson's formidable defense is likely to keep Notre Dame within a similar scoring range. Additionally, the absence of tight end Mitchell Evans, who was not only the primary target but also crucial to Notre Dame's impressive 49% third down conversion rate, will impact the offense. While Notre Dame will still maintain efficiency, Evans' absence may result in a slight reduction in points scored. On the defensive front, Notre Dame's consistent performance throughout the season has been a defining feature. They managed to limit Ohio State's potent offense to just 17 points. Combining this with Clemson's recent offensive struggles, marked by mistakes and stalled drives, it's evident that both teams are poised for a lower-scoring affair. In this early Saturday game, both teams are expected to rely on their rushing attacks, which will keep the clock running. Notre Dame's strategy will likely involve shortening the game and securing a victory on the road. All signs point to a game with limited scoring opportunities, and the bookmakers have set the total as low as possible. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.